Today's lesson is about isosceles triangles and answering angle problems involving these. So let's just remember about an isosceles triangles, and looking at these diagrams in blue here, you'll see these are isosceles triangles because two angles are the same and one's different. And if I go over to this one, two angles are the same and one is different. And that's what an isosceles triangle is. It also has two sides the same. Here and here are the equal sides. And on this diagram, it's here and here. Now, the key thing to understand is where on an isosceles triangle the sides are the same and where they are different. So if I look at this triangle here, these here show me the two sides that are the same, and when those two sides that are the same join, they join at this point here. And you'll notice at this point at the top here, the angle is different. So let me just say that again. Here's the two sides that are the same. If we move those sides, if we extend the lines to where they join, it's this point here at the top, and that is the different angle. So the other two angles are the same. If I go to this diagram here, here are my two sides that are the same. Let me extend those. So if I think about it, and I actually drew those lines and I extended them from there, they'd meet at this point here, and therefore this angle is the one that is different, and these two angles are the same. So if I look down to A, I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, this side and this side are the same, and they join together, those two sides join together at this point here. So I'm going to mark that with a single blue line because that angle's on its own. And these two down here I do with two lines because these two angles would be the same and this angle here would be different. So moving on to B, I want you to think. So I want you to press pause now on the video, and I want you to think about which angle is the same. Which two angles are the same here? Is it these two? Is it these two? Or is it these two? Which two are the same and which one is different? Have a go, press pause, and when you've decided which is the odd angle out, press play. Okay, going through this, I'm going to say that here's my two sides that are the same. They come together here. So this angle is the odd one out, and these two angles are the same. So remember here, these two sides, the same length, they join at this point here because it's where they join is the odd one out. And the other two angles, I put notice two lines here to say these two are the same, but this has only got one line because it's the odd one out. Right, press pause again, have a go at C. Okay, for C now, again, where do these two lines join? They join here. Here's my odd angle. So these two are going to be the same. And that's the starting point when you are doing any question with isosceles triangle. Work out which is the odd one out and which angles are the same. Okay, we're now going to move on to problems and solving them. Now looking at these angle problems, the first stage that I need to actually work on is where in my isosceles triangle, which angles are the same and which angles are different. Where's that odd angle? So I go back and I go, these are the sides that are the same, and where the sides that are the same join, so that would be that point there, that's the odd angle. So it's here that I want to mark on, this is my odd angle. And then I know that the other angles are the same. So I have two angles that are the same here. So how do I work out my angles? Well, remember you should be writing your rules. And I should write angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So 180 subtract 140 is equal to 40 degrees. And I'm going to mark that on my diagram now, so I can say that this angle here is 40 degrees. This angle here has two lines, and I do that because when I do that I'm saying that there's another angle with the same, so that's the same as this one here. So I also need to say that this angle here is 40 degrees as well. So I now know two angles in my triangle, and to find my third angle I'm going to use the rule about angles in a triangle. So first of all, isosceles triangles have two base angles, they're called, that are equal, and angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So I then can do 180, subtract both of my other angles. So I've got 40 and another 40. So subtract 40 is equal to 100 degrees. So my final angle is 100 degrees, and that's it solved. Now I'm going to do another question, very similar, but we're going to get slightly different answers in slightly different places. So if I scroll up, I have this one here. And here, again, I need to start with where are my angles the same and where are they different? So I need to think, here's my two sides which are the same, this one here, so I can see they're joining at this point here, so I can then immediately go, right, that's the odd one out. Remember, we write the odd one out on first, and then we can say these two here must be equal. Now I'm not going to write all the rules out because we've done that already, though if I'm honest I really should. But here I can see that the first angle that I'm going to work out is this one here, and I'm going to do 180 subtract 140 is 40 degrees, and I'm going to write that on my diagram there. And again, it's the same angle twice, so I'm going to have to write it there as well. So there's 2 places that's 40 degrees, and therefore my angle then at the top here, that would be 180, subtract both my 40 degrees, and now my 100-degree angle is at the top. Now just one last example. So you notice that so far we've had the equal sides here and here. Then I moved them. If I just shrink that slightly, you'll see I've put them here and here. Now I want to go on to a third example, and you'll see that I've put them here and here. But we're going to do exactly the same thing. We must start by where are the angle, which is the odd one out. So here's the side that's the same, here's the sides that are the same, they meet at this point here. So my odd angle this time is there. And therefore these must be the same. And this is going to involve slightly a different calculation, because I'm going to do 180 subtract 140 equals 40 degrees. So my 40 degrees is going to go here. However, these two will add up to what is left. So I now need to go 180 subtract 40 is 140 degrees. And that 140 has got to be shared equally between these. And the reason it's equally between these is because we know these are the same angle. So 140 divided by 2 is 70 degrees. So each of these is going to be 70. And that there is the different ways we can see isosceles triangle problems. And just to remind you, make sure you work out which angle is the odd one out, label the angles that are the same, and then off you'll go, and you'll always get them right.